Thank you for having me here today. I'm so excited about this. Well, I can't believe it's been 35 years since I graduated from Potsdam. It's been 39 years since I had what I call first contact with Dr. Smith at summer orientation. Dr. Smith told me all about the math department. He answered a lot of questions, he asked a lot of questions, and he told me about the BA/MA program. I was hooked. I really wanted to do this. As I look back, I'm amazed at how influential the Potsdam Math Department and Dr. Stephens has been on me. How often I ask myself, what would Dr. Spencer do? What would Dr. Smith do? What would Dr. Foisey do? I still shake at that response. I'll save my Dr. Foisey stories for another day.
At dinner.
And of course, what would Dr. Stephens do? Potsdam Math and Dr. Stephens helped me to form my entire outlook, my entire mindset. When my youngest daughter, Ellen, was looking at colleges, even though we were living in Connecticut, I said, take a look at the Potsdam Math Department. They're professional mathematicians, professional educators, and they really care. I don't think I've ever given better advice in my life. My first real interaction with Dr. Stephens was first semester, sophomore year, set theory and logic. That same semester, I took linear algebra with Dr. Dunn. Both classes for me can be summarized in one word: proofs. While many struggle and ask, what's this got to do with math? I loved it. I loved the struggle. I loved the feeling of getting a proof. From desire, I rust to satisfaction, and from satisfaction, I leap to desire. This summarized proofs for me, a vicious circle. Once I got one, I couldn't wait to get to the next one. And then, the struggle began anew. I have to be honest, I was not elegant, as Dr. Spencer pointed out numerous times, and I was not that good, but I loved doing them. Set theory and Dr. Stephens, this was the most unique class and the most unique individual that I have ever experienced. I tell people all the time about this class and Dr. Stephens specifically. I call them Dr. Stephens stories. Original, I know. I explain to people that Dr. Stephens is the most Socratic person I've ever known. He always answered your question with a question. No, really, I explain. If you as a student were running down the hallway, half out of breath, and seeing Dr. Stephens ask, Dr. Stephens, what time is it? He would likely slowly look at his watch, and then back to you and respond, why do you need to know the time? You in haste would reply, because I'm late for class. Dr. Stephens would likely nod his head as if though to agree with you. Look at his watch again and ask, will knowing the time make you early for class? And this could go on indefinitely. I was able to figure out this aspect of Dr. Stephens and set theory and logic not too far into the semester. Not everyone did, however. I recall later in the semester, students asking Dr. Stephens about their grades in class. Questions like, are you going to curve? What do I need to get a 90 in the class? Dr. Stephens never answered, certainly we're going to curve, or you need an average of 90 to get an A. Instead, his response was more likely, will grading with a curve make you study harder? Will it make you understand the material better? Will getting an A help you learn more? These were not the answers those students were looking for. I remember near the beginning of set theory and logic, Dr. Stephens introduced a revolutionary phrase. There he was at the front of the room, fist punching the air, saying, go fast slowly. I remember to this day hearing, repeating in my mind, slowly nodding my brow and pondering, what the heck does that mean? And pondered I did. You see, I was a go fast quickly guy. At that point, I was the equivalent of Ricochet Rabbit. How can you go fast slowly? It just doesn't make sense. Well, it didn't take long for me to start to figure it out. What led me down this road to understanding? Proofs. Either go fast slowly or invest in lots of erasers. Proofs are exercises that when overly rushed, not allowing for proper thought, mistakes ensue. And guess what? You've got to do it all over again. Go figure. To achieve an end product or a long-term result, you may have to have a proper balance of urgency and diligence. Who would have ever thought it? Certainly not me as a sophomore. Don't let me fool you. My transition from Ricochet Rabbit to my current self, some may say a kinder, gentler Ricochet Rabbit, was not overnight. Actually, I'm still working on it. To go fast slowly requires time, and using time as an ally. It's funny because not long after graduating college, I started to keep a book of quotes. I've always liked inspirational quotes, so when I came upon a quote I liked, I wrote it down in my book. Today I have hundreds of quotes in my book that I'd like to share periodically with my children, my students, and players that I coach. My quote book starts on page 1 with 2 quotes, both from Dr. Stephens. I had these 2 quotes taped above my desk while at Potsdam. The first goes, "Go fast slowly," and the second, "Know what you know." Dr. Stephens introduced us to know what you know and set theory and logic. This one made more sense to me at the time. As with go fast slowly, know what you know applies directly to proofs. I now say to my students, there are 4 kinds of people. People that don't know and think they know. People that don't know and know they don't know. People that know and think they don't know, and people that know and know they know. Then I ask my students, which one are you? I give them some time to discuss this for a bit. Then I ask, which one do you want to be and how are you going to get there? One other memorable moment in set theory and logic was when Dr. Stephens gave his pitch for being a mathematician. It went something like this. A biologist, when he goes down to the Racket River and he gets all his specimens and he gets wet and cold and clammy and muddy. Then he brings them back to his laboratory and he looks at them with his microscope. A mathematician, he sits back in his comfortable easy chair and thinks. He ponders all day. Then he would look around the classroom and point his finger and say, which do you want to be? I've got to admit that I cannot recall anyone from any of my math classes at Potsdam that was a biology major. Coincidence? I think not. In the spring semester of my sophomore year, I took theory of sets with Dr. Stephens and Calc 3 with Dr. Foisey, which I still have nightmares about, by the way. Theory of sets was a graduate level class. There were about 20 students in the class. This was an introductory course to the BA/MA program, to which many students aspired. The first class of thereabout, Dr. Stephens gave us a problem to work on, or more exactly, a proof. He indicated that it was a thinking problem and would require a lot of time and a lot of thought in all likelihood. I don't recall the actual problem, but it was something on par with the axiom choice, virtually impossible. But we didn't know any better. We were sophomores in college. The class got the problem, and everyone was excited to work on it. We all wanted to work on it. We all wanted to solve it. Well, throughout the semester, most students stopped working on the problem, but I continued to try. I have to admit, my effort was minimal, but occasionally I would give it a go, look at it, and get absolutely nowhere. I was trying, but making very, very little headway. I didn't really know if I was up or down. In any case, about halfway through the semester, or thereabout, there I was passing Dr. Stephens' office in Carson, and a bright idea popped in my mind, a very rare occurrence in those days. I'll ask Dr. Stephens if I'm heading in the right direction. Yeah, he'll give me some help. So I stopped into Dr. Stephens' office, and he was in his welcoming manner, he said, "John, come on in and sit down." So I sat down. I began to explain to Dr. Stephens what I had done on the problem and where I was heading. Dr. Stephens really didn't say much. He just listened and nodded, and listened and nodded. Finally, I asked, "So, am I headed in the right direction?" In response, Dr. Stephens slowly nodded his head, and he slowly leaned across the desk, and he asked, "John, do you ski?" I thought, do I ski? What's this got to do with anything? But of course, I didn't say that to Dr. Stephens. I said, "Yeah, I ski." And Dr. Stephens smiled, nodding his head, sat back in his chair, which looked very comfortable, nothing like a biologist's chair. He started, "Imagine it's early morning and you're on the top of a mountain with freshly fallen snow, and you start skiing down, and you're skiing down the moguls. And you can imagine him doing the hand motions and the slaloming and everything. And then finally you come to a big mole, a really big mole, and you fall down. Then he leans forward and he asks me, "What are you going to do? What are you going to do?" And I thought to myself, what am I going to do? I'm going to run. I'm going to jump out that window behind me. That's what I'm going to do. But of course, I didn't say that to Dr. Stephens. I said, well, I'm going to get up. And Dr. Stephens said, that's right. You're going to get up. You're going to get up. And he leaned back in his chair and he said, anytime you need my help, John, you just let me know. And then my time was up. My time was done. I thanked him and I left my office. I might add, in a significantly greater daze than when I entered. As I continued to wherever I was going, I thought, what just happened? I still had no clue whether I was heading in the right direction on the problem or not. And I thought about it. Not the problem per se, but about what had happened. With time and thought, I started to see what Dr. Stephens was getting at. Over time, I came to better understand the importance of struggle, the importance of effort, and the importance of not confusing getting help with getting the answer. Over the past year at the United States Coast Guard Academy, I and other professors have observed how most students think that being helped is the equivalent of getting the answer. I try to help them learn that there is value in the struggle. It was illustrated to me long ago that there is value in the answer, but real growth happens in the journey towards that answer, even if you never get there. Dr. Stephens, in his very unique way, helped me to understand get up. There's a great saying I discovered years after college. It's in my quote book. Each day on the savannah, a gazelle awakens and realizes to survive, it must run faster than the fastest lion. On that same day, on the same savannah, each day a lion awakens and realizes to survive, it must run faster than the slowest gazelle. So regardless of whether you're a gazelle or a lion, regardless of your situation, get up. Get up each morning and start running. Over the past number of years, I've had an opportunity to teach at Mitchell College in New England, Connecticut. Let me first tell you, Mitchell is not Potsdam. It doesn't have a math department, and math courses are service courses. There is a minimal math requirement that many of the faculty and administration would like to further minimize. Everyone got that, I take it now. Most of the students had a history of doing poorly in math classes. However, I saw this as an opportunity to really hone my teaching skills to help students understand and possibly even actually enjoy math. When I was originally brought into Mitchell, I spoke with the dean, and we got on quite well. We agreed that we should try to get more students to take more advanced math courses. By advanced, I mean Calc 1 and Calc 2, which were really offered for a number of reasons. I had many minor successes while at Mitchell. However, there's one story in particular I'd like to share. It's about a Mitchell student. Her name is Hope. Hope was an older student. She was about 25, 26 when she started college. When I first met her, she was taking the lowest level math course, essentially the equivalent of arithmetic with minimal algebra. She aced it. At that point, I could see she had a good foundation, and more importantly, she was a hard worker and eager to learn, not just get good grades, although grades were important to her. She next took from me college algebra. This is really just a combination of high school algebra 1 and 2. For some majors, this course is the basic math requirement at Mitchell. She aced it. She really worked hard to understand the ideas, not just the mechanics. Near the end of the semester, I gave my talk to the class about taking calculus the next semester and how it would be a great challenge that would help them grow. I explained that part of college should be about challenging oneself and getting outside one's comfort zone. Their response was excuses. Excuses spewed from their mouths. I don't have that much time. That's too hard. I can't fit it into my schedule. My dog ate my homework. But not Hope. She said, I'm going to give it a try. And she did. She struggled. She really struggled. She complained that it was too hard, but she stuck with it. She was way, way outside her comfort zone. She really had to work hard at learning, not just calculus, but learning how to learn. She got so much better. The next semester, she took Calc 2. with a few other students from the Calc 1 class. She did great. Some struggled, but far less. She loved it. She was really learning how to learn. Next semester, she was the only student that wanted to take Calc 3. We arranged this as an independent study. I told her, now you're really going to learn how to learn. Minimal lectures, only when I thought she needed foundational background. She had to independently read the material, solve weekly problem sets, and present selected problems weekly. She ate it up. She loved it. And she gained an understanding. It was amazing. Here was a student that 4 semesters earlier was taking the equivalent of arithmetic that was now understanding Calculus 3. In my mind, incredible. But wait, there's more. Hope had aspirations to go to graduate school. Her list of schools was impressive. In all honesty, I thought she had little chance to get accepted to most of them, if any. Of course, I never told her that. I just encouraged her and helped her out wherever possible. Then one day, as I was walking across campus, I heard my name being yelled out. It was Hope. She came running, literally, up to me and gave me a huge hug. I got it, she said. I got accepted to Wesleyan University, a master's PhD program in neuroscience. This was absolutely incredible. Then she said, there's no way I would have ever gotten this if it wasn't for those math courses. I learned so much, I can't thank you enough. Hope later graduated from Mitchell and went on to her graduate work at Wesleyan, where she's still studying. Although Hope thanked me, in reality, she was thanking Dr. Stephens. In his quiet, totally unassuming way, Dr. Stephens has directly impacted and influenced numerous students. He, along with the Potsdam Math Department, have taught thousands of students how to learn and how to communicate that understanding to others. In all likelihood, in her graduate program, Hope will never take a partial derivative. She'll never use the limit comparison test. In all likelihood, she will never find the area between two curves. However, she will be able to learn independently. She will value and embrace the struggle involved in learning. She will go faster, much more slowly, and she will know what she knows. Although she does not know Dr. Stephens, her success is a result of him, his teaching, and his methods. Dr. Stephens is the pebble from which waves ripple, influencing the entire surface of the pond. His direct influence on his students is passed on indirectly to their students and their students' students, and on and on. His influence grows exponentially. Dr. Stephens, if you were here, I'm sure I speak for many when I say I can't thank you enough for what you've done for me, my family, and essentially everyone I've ever taught, coached, or mentored. And in closing, I would like to say, happy 100.